Just listen to this. Yes, the new Porsche 911 GT3 will still be gloriously, naturally aspirated, as it has managed to retain the wonderful 4-litre flat 6 from the 991. And this is Andreas Preuninger, head of GT cars at Porsche. After a passenger ride with him in the prototype of this latest GT3, we took the new car to meet its ancestors.
Welcome to our Hall of Ancestries.
This is
the GT Hall. All the cars you see here were in the project, were driven by us. They're all like brand new. We keep them here to reset ourselves from time to time, drive the old cars, compare them with the new cars, cleaning them, loving them. That's a place that I think nobody has seen before from the outside. So.
I love that this exists. This is exactly what you hope would exist, that you would keep one of pretty much all of them. Wow. And this
keep at least one of them. That was my first car that I used when I started the job.
Because this had already been developed when you arrived. So this was already existent when you arrived.
This was existing. I wasn't responsible for the first gen GT3. It was already there. Yeah. It was kind of, I was an instructor at a sport driving school back then, and we had one of those. And I loved it so much. I just wanted to do more with that kind of car. And so I applied to Hartmut Christen, and that was the first car. He was running the department at that time. It was in 2000? I don't know. Yes, around 2000. Yeah. 20 years, my goodness. And it was the first car I used to drive around, to get my head into the GT3 project, which wasn't necessary. I knew it from sport driving school. I've been on the track with that things a lot, and it's still in good shape. Look at it, and I drive it from time to time. It's kind of interesting how performance perception changes through the years. So this is a very quick car. It was a hugely fast car. It's still a quick car today, but not more. So the fast car is here.
And it's still an iconic wing as well, isn't it? We'll come to that wing in a minute.
Yeah, it's put on the high downforce setup, mostly because of, I think, optical reasons, because we don't use it anymore on the track. Actually, it throws the car off balance if you don't counteract on the front. But it's inherited to the Porsche Museum. That's why the Porsche Museum sticker is there. But we still use it and have it here. Yeah, and so all the cars are here. GT3 RS, the first RS of its kind with a water-cooled engine. That was a project of heart, definitely, because I wanted to do something that looked like the Carrera RS in 1972. I had this poster above my bed of the white and blue car. And we needed a homologation car anyway, because we needed other uprights for the RSR, or the RS it was called back then. The race car was called RS. After we named that one, the RS, the street car, the RS moniker turned to RSR for the race car, because we had to find a we couldn't name the cars the same. And we needed more uprights for the lower wishbones, because the dynamic camber changes on the race car was not so good for long stints. With more tire wear, and Roland Kusma, who was chief engineer back then, said, we need to lower the pivot point of the front axle, and we need a different wheel carrier for that, a different upright. But we have to homologate it for the race car, so we have to make 200 street cars. And that there's some other things that we badly needed for racing that we wanted to integrate in the GT3 second gen, and we said, hey, come on, let's make a special model. Let's make a homage to the RS car, and that was that one. But it was a lot more than only the knuckles in front. The car is full of innovations that we needed for the racetrack back then, and it's still such a hoot to drive.
I've never driven one of these, so that's...
well, you've been too young, maybe.
I always like the blue, though. I prefer the blue to the
and it's the original blue tone that we had in the 70s as well. Yeah. I actually forgot the name. It's not Riviera. It was called...
It's not Mexico.
Mexico Blue.
Mexico Blue. There we go.
Good job. Mexico Blue. Yeah, and all the other cars are there, like GT2s, GT3s, all the generations. 997 GT3 RS, the first one with the wide body. That was the first introduction of the wide body for the RS car and the bigger wing.
Car of the year 2007.
It was 2007, right? Yeah. It was in parallel to this one as the base car, which is still a hugely competent car, even by today's standards. Still loving that 3.6 liter.
I love this car.
Very, very, very good car, especially in that color. It's a 917, right? Yeah, I drove that thing a lot. It's great. It's still great. Had the Carrera GT seats, which are great and light. And it's got 415 horses, a 6-gear gearbox, and a nearly indestructible engine. It's still such a good car.
If you gave me the choice, this might be, just because dark blue, those seats, no cage.
There's not so many around in this midnight blue color. When we spec the car, we mostly were looking for special colors to make it special and to have maybe a reason to keep it and not having to scrap it, because it's the only one. There might be more than one midnight blues, but there's some colors you see here, like the San Marino blue GT3 RS here, or the British Racing Green R that have special colors, or the Iris blue Touring here, very nicely as well.
2 Tourings down there.
Yeah, it's 2 Tourings. There's one in Iris blue, which is completely stock, and the other one, I can't remember the name of the color actually. We used to test the wheels of the Speedster Concept, which has 21s in the front and the back, and we used it for driving as well. So we had to make sure there's no problems, so the wheel has enough space in the wheel wells, and so we tested it on that car, and the wheels are still on it because they look very good.
Let's talk about this. I know we don't want to give too many details away about it.
Yeah, it's a new car, new platform. It's always exciting to start from scratch. A lot of pressure because 991 second gen, we have it over here in gray. Hugely successful car, a car that's very hard to beat. And so we have to beat ourselves all the time. The competition mostly can't beat us, which is a good thing, but it's the target as well for that one. And it's on the platform 992, it's a more competent platform. It's a wider track in the front, wider track at the back, more contact patch. So it gives us a lot of new parameters to play around with to get even more performance out of it, which worked. So the car is devastatingly quick on the ring. I can't tell you how quick, but some mouths will be wide open when we communicate that, so we're very happy. We have a new front axle in the car for the first time. A 911 with a number plate attached has a double wishbone front axle, which is a complete start from scratch new story. So we couldn't use not one part of the old car. Completely new setup, all ball bearing. And the rear axle had some modifications too, to be able to keep up with the front axle. As soon as you turn in, you don't want any delay of the rear axle reacting, because that can be very uncomfortable. We managed it in that car. The car is gotten a little bit bigger. It looks very cool without the camouflage, I tell you, so we're always very concerned about making it as ugly as possible. And when I'm reading all the comments on the internet about ugly this and ugly that, I would never buy it. I said, yes, so spot on. Wait till you see it without camouflage. It's a beauty, absolute beauty. And what makes me proud is the car is not heavier than its predecessor, despite being a little bit bigger.
So it's 1,400 kilos?
1,430, but including gas, including oil, including wiper fluid, including everything. Wet weight topped off, not wet with a drop that the engine fires up once. No, full. Bigger brakes. I'm blabbering away.
No.
Ask me questions.
You keep talking. It's fine. You're saying.
I'm talking too much. Maybe I said too much already.
As you say, bigger brakes. The bits we can see, obviously, in the disguised body. We've got these nostrils here, and then we'll come to the aero at the rear in a second.
We like to vent the middle cooler in the most efficient way. And if you look at the 992. As beautiful as it is, we were just lacking the space to open up the front fascia here, the front the front end, so it would have made a very, very narrow situation for guiding the air up a chimney that is very fluently guiding the air up, so we needed a space more behind it, so we had to open the front lid, which has a very positive side effect, because you can't do that on a steel or aluminum steel lid so good as we can do it on a carbon fiber part, which is lighter, which is cool. Now we've got a carbon fiber hood even on a base standard GT3. And aerodynamic situation got better. There was a lot of discussion about this rear wing, which is camouflaged and which is ugly, as it is now. It's going to be beautiful once you see it, so the support's going to be looking a lot different. But the big advantage here, it's not a styling thing. You've got the whole underside of the wing devoid of any supports or brackets or pillars. So the suction side, which is very important for the aerodynamical efficiency, is completely even and free of anything. So we can, in combination with this ducktail spoiler thing here, you can make a lot of downforce without having to have an excessive angle of attack, which slows the car down. We wanted this car to be quick on the Autobahn as well. And maybe that's only for Germany, but we have Döttinger Höhe, Döttinger straight on the Nürburgring as well. It helps too. So we can get more downforce out of the car with a lesser angle of attack, which means less wind resistance. In conjunction with that, look at the huge diffuser down there. So the whole underbody, you can see it from here, was revised as well to guide the right amount of air fast enough to the back of the car and then really rip it up and create this low pressure zone to press the car down. It works on the next level, I would say, in contributing to overall aerodynamic efficiency. This one is just camouflage. There were so many discussions, how can they shape this back and look at this, it looks ugly. Yes, it does. It's got nothing to do with the real thing, boys. This is all coming off and it looks completely different. Believe me, trust me. Wheels are 2021s, 21s in the back, like we had on the former GT3 RS. Like many times, stuff out of the former RS goes into the newer model GT3, which gives us a problem on the next RS, as a matter of fact, but we used to cope with that kind of problems. Bigger wheels, so wider wheels, the contact patch is bigger, which helps as well, which works pretty well with the newly found performance out of the chassis. And with two 255s in the front, 315s in the back. Engine.
Yeah, I was going to say, down here we've got the
Engine,
exhaust.
down here.
I've heard it.
You've heard it.
It still has gas particulate filters in there? Because it doesn't sound...
It has gasoline particulate filter because it has to have them, because that's the law. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I mean, no. It is emotional. It is absolutely acoustically present, I would say, and you experience that. So they're very loud gasoline particle filters, emotional ones. The exhaust has gotten lighter, which is cool. So we found some other stuff at the back of the car, which I can't go into detail just now, that made the car lighter. Because it's a bigger car, we had to find the weight somewhere. And yeah, we have lightweight glass. That was something we had on the RS models before that. And there's some trickery in the interior as well, that's specifically reworked and invented and innovated for the GT3 customer. If you look at the screens just ahead of you, we've got a special drag screen that condenses all the information that you need on the car, that you can see at one glance. We've got a beautiful shift light that you don't have to look at. It's just blinking so noticeably that you can stare on the street on a track, and as soon as the blue flash comes, initiated by a yellow band that's going up, and then if it's full, it's going full yellow now.
Blue, sort of.
Full blue.
Yeah.
So I was on full yellow on the track. Different story.
Full course yellow.
So steering is pretty amazing on that car. I mean, the front axle got quicker. The steering is more direct, like it's on the 992 Carrera as well. But it's brought to the next level in directness on that model.
And presumably that took
and
a
it's
lot
full
of
of
work.
positive feel.
Yeah.
That's for sure, because this is the important thing in the GT3. It has to be communicative. It has to tell you exactly what's going on the street.
And presumably you had to work quite hard, or going from McPherson to Double Wishbone has made quite a lot of. It took quite a lot of work to tune the steering in and sort of just explain.
You start from scratch, and you have to take in consideration this car is built on the same production line than the Boxster or the Cayman or the Turbo, and so it has to fit in our production line system, which is aside from the technical issues was a big task for everybody involved to integrate this in our production processes. Yeah, I mean, it's a whole new approach for a street car, but luckily in Porsche Motorsport, we use this kind of front axle on the GT3 RSR, so there has been a lot of know-how and experience of how to do it. But we save that for a later moment, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. Gearboxes.
Gearboxes, so we have the choice of two. So if somebody wants the manual, he can get it still. And we have the PDK gearbox. That is, if you just have a look at the inside. And yes, this is a PDK.
Fooled me
gearbox.
When I first got in. I thought this is a manual.
Everybody's looking for a clutch, but we are still able to shift manually. If you put it to the right side, shift to the back, gear up, shift to the front.
So you can use it like a sequential shifter.
Use it like a sequential shifter, which was the same or similar in the GT3 before. But now that the Carrera models have this 8-gear PDK gearbox, it's not possible anymore to shift manually. We thought it's very, very important. We are okay with 7 speeds anyway, so there's no overdrive in the car. We saved that weight and concentrated on mostly positive shifter feedback and giving the driver the opportunity to do it manually, because I like to do it, and I know there's lots of people out there that like to do it as well. You can use the pedals if you like. I do, but only on track. And to be honest, in a normal street driving, I prefer to work the shift lever. And this is still possible in the next GT3, which makes me feel good.
Fantastic. Bigger brakes, as you said.
Bigger brakes. We got steel rotors that grew in size from 380 to 408 at the front, and we've got 380s in the back. Good thing is the bigger steel rotors didn't affect weight too much, so it's neglectable how much they're heavier than their predecessors, which is always very important. Found enough insulating material as well that we threw out in comparison to the predecessor. So found some weight in the interior as well. We had to find weight because it's a bigger car. I told you that. So nobody should be afraid that the car isn't emotional anymore and isn't talking to you anymore. I read all that stuff and I keep laughing. It's as communicative as a GT3 ever was, and maybe even a tad more.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Because, as we said before, for all that the cars are going to get faster, that's not it's only part of the central tenet of these.
It has to be the quickest for the peace of mind. It has to be fun all the time. But having a car that is fun all the time, knowing exactly, okay, it's in the last competition it was fourth, turned out fourth or third against the competitors, doesn't feel as good as if you know you're in pole position, logically. Which we are, believe me.
Well, I can't wait to see it unveiled. I know it's over there, tantalizingly.
It's it's over there. You're right. I can't lift the veil just now. It's too early. I told you too much things already. I think it's too late. But well.
I can't wait. I'll have a look around at all the other.
There's a lot of things to look at.
It's ancestors.
Yeah.
Try and choose which one I'd have.
And they're all in good working order. I mean, they're turnkey ready, definitely. If we would make a little drive with all of those, then we would need some more time, maybe till next week.
Absolutely.
But So I'll be back in a minute.
Okay. No, don't.
Hey, I knew that. I knew you would do that. I knew you would do that. You can't go to the loo without... You can touch it. See that? I give you a little hint, a little one, just a tiny little one.
Pinstripes.
Pinstripes. Enough said.
Thank you very much, Andreas.
Pleasure, as always.
So there we are. The new GT3 is on its way, with double wishbones at the front and a swan neck wing at the rear. Hopefully before too long, we'll be able to show you the undisguised car and dig even further into the details. Thank you very much indeed for watching. If you haven't already, then please do click on both the subscribe button and the bell notification button so that you don't miss out on any future GT3 content.